29th of January, 1945. My dearest one, I've just heard the news that all the army men who were held POW are to return to their homes. It is terrific, wonderful, shattering. I don't know what to say and I cannot think. All I'm thinking about is I am going home, I am going to see her. You have to be abroad, you have to be hermetically sealed off from your intimates, from your home, to realise what a gift this going home is. Would it be wonderful to be together? Not just to know that a letter is all we can send. I love you, Chris.
That was an extract from the book My Dear Bessie, a love story in letters, read by the most wonderful Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch.
These love letters, edited by Simon Garfield, were between World War II lovers, Chris Barker, a soldier in Libya, and Bessie Moore, an interpreter in London.
We are proud and honoured to have our very good friend Peter, who's also the son of Chris and Bessie, with us today. Hello, Peter.
Hello there, hello.
Please tell us how these letters between Chris and Bessie were discovered and how they came to be published.
Well, it's a great story. My dad, just about a year before he died, he informed my brother Bernard that there were these love letters in the loft. And he said, just don't read them until I'm dead. My brother got in the loft, brought the letters out, realised they were an extraordinary collection of love letters. Bernard took the initiative in deciding to have them typed up in print. And then Bernard deposited the letters with the Mass Observation Society at Sussex University. And a week later, one of the trustees, Simon Garfield himself no less, came along and said, I don't suppose you've got any material about love letters from the Second World War. Oh, wow, guess what? Yes. And it just went from that. It wasn't a long delay. It was literally just a couple of weeks. I've got 2 volumes like this. This is the transcript of the letters. There are 2 volumes, and as you can see, there's a heck of a lot of material in that. So that is the astonishing story, and of course it went from strength to strength.
Why do you think your father hadn't shown you the letters before?
Well, I'm afraid to say there is a lot of sex in these letters, intimate exchanges. So I can very understand why he said to my brother, don't read these until I'm dead. They were a randy lot in those days. That's right.
Yeah.
Did it surprise you that the letters between your parents were so eloquent, so well written and so articulate?
I was surprised by my mum, but you know, she's a highly intelligent woman, so why should I be surprised, really? But Dad has always been a loquacious, eloquent man who loved the sound of his own voice. So it's no surprise that he could express himself so well.
Would you mind reading an extract from your father's letters for us?
Yes, I'll be pleased to do so. This is a letter that my dad wrote to Mum on the 7th of May 1946. He was almost demobbed at that stage, but he faced a journey home from somewhere in Italy to get back to Mum. Dearest darling, only one, thank you for all that you have been to me through these years. And be sure we shall overcome with our love any difficulties that may be later on. I can never be as good as you deserve, but I really will try very hard, and I know you will help. We shall be partners, collaborators, man and woman, husband and wife, lovers. I love you, I want you, I need you. Always yours, Chris.
I'm just imagining what it must have been like, your mum and your dad waiting for that letter, what that must give you during a time of war, knowing that letter's coming and then receiving it, like the joy of it during such troubled times.
And the anxiety when a letter didn't arrive.
Yes, of course.
And they had a careful numbering system. so that they knew the sequence of the letters, because sometimes an earlier letter would arrive later than the one that's, so they were always dealing with those kind of issues as well.
I must be with you. I must warm you, surround you, love you, and be kind to you. Tell me anything that's in your mind. Write tons and tons and tons and plan our time. I would prefer not to get married, but want you to agree on the point.
How was your editor, Simon Garfield, able to get these letters read aloud at the wonderful Letters Live theatrical events?
Simon Garfield wasn't the only significant author who had been writing a book about the history of letter writing. There was another man whose name I'm afraid I've forgotten now, but he also was involved in looking at all sorts of astonishing material, like the speech that Richard Nixon would have given if the moon landing had failed. A load of actors got together and decided that they would promote letter writing. They read many wonderful letters, not just mum and dad's, of course, they were the best, but they read these letters to some very, I suppose, high-powered audiences. You know, the literary festival at Hay-on-Wye, which is one of the most prestigious festivals in the UK. And there was Benedict Cumberbatch, one of the most prestigious actors in the UK, reading them. I mean, incredible.
I mean, you can't get much better than Benedict Cumberbatch reading your letters.
Your mum, Bessie, was portrayed by the wonderful actor Louise Brealey.
Darling, I have no complaints about your letters. I am too happy that it is my body that you want, that occupies your thoughts. If you didn't write and tell me these things, I should suspect you of being interested in somebody else's body. You keep concentrating on mine.
Did it take the letters into a new level for you to hear them spoken aloud by such talented actors?
I think they did, because what they demonstrated was how wonderful the letters were. You know, you can scan a bit of print, reading it as a book, but actually reading aloud really brings home the meaning. And when you're a brilliant actor like Cumberbatch, you can bring out every subtle nuance, the humour. So yes, it transforms it really. I went with my brother to the reading in London. I had this rather odd experience of people realising that I was the son of Chris and Bessie and coming up and shaking my hand.
Oh, wow.
You know, there are a number of other sort of famous actors who they came up to me and shook my hand as though there was some merit in me, simply on the basis that I was the son of Bessie and Chris.
That must have been really exciting and surreal.
Yes, and of course the book lot in Florence Bookshop was also absolutely surreal. There were various speeches. I gave a little speech about mum and dad, and at the end my brother and I were sitting at a table signing loads of books. It was a moment of stardom, shall we say?
I understand, Peter, that you and your wife Penny actually got to meet Benedict Cumberbatch on another occasion.
Yes, well, we did indeed. He was appearing in Hamlet at the Barbican in a highly praised production. I was desperate to get tickets and naturally contacted Benedict. He arranged for us to get some tickets. Penny was able to knit a little jumper for their child who had literally just been born. When we went backstage at Hamlet in the interval to see him, we met his wife, we met his son, and it was just a beautiful occasion altogether. I'm not normally one for bear hugs, but getting a bear hug of Benedict Cumberbatch was just a bit special.
That's the occasion for one if you're ever going to do a bear hug, isn't it?
The great thing about Benedict and Louise is that they combined to participate in a radio play based on My Dear Bessie. Brilliantly put together by Simon Garfield again. That's a tremendous radio play. I mean, it really was.
You commissioned professional violinist Ju Yeon Seo to write a solo violin work encapsulating the letters.
As some of your viewers and supporters may recall, I'd set up a music charity for children called Classical Music Rocks, and Ju Yeon was the musician who agreed to help me set it up. Later on, in the midst of My Dear Bessie and so forth, I decided I'd commission her to compose just a 7-minute violin piece, which she played solo, and the recording of that is absolutely brilliant. And one of the remarkable things about it is that somewhat cheekily, I said to Ju Yeon, well, as this is about the Second World War, it would be really rather good if somehow that you could knit into your music the theme of We'll Meet Again. And if you listen carefully to it, you can hear Vera Lynn's masterpiece just shining through a bit. I do recommend people to watch the YouTube video of this 7-minute violin piece, because it is very atmospheric, very evocative, and wonderfully played.
I just wonder what your parents, your mum and dad, would have thought about all this.
That is a very good question. What was going through my dad's mind when he, first of all, kept the letters, and secondly, obviously told Bernard that they were up in the loft? What did he think would happen to them? What he did know was, obviously, there was merit in those letters, but I don't think he would have conceptualized some notion of them being edited and published in a book. I don't think he would have conceived of that. And I think my mum might have been slightly horrified because of some of the intimate content that is in the letters. But I think overall they'd have both been overjoyed.
The book, My Dear Bessie, A Love Story in Letters, is a wonderful read and I thoroughly recommend it. The link will be in the description.
We would love, as always, to receive your comments, your feedbacks, any thoughts that this has brought up for you whilst listening to Peter's story about his parents. If you have anything to say, please leave a comment below.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye.